Teaching and learning experiences differ a lot. Now, there are certain factors that determine how students see their academics as well as their lecturers, and vice versa for the lecturers as well. But we cannot talk about any of these factors without putting into consideration generational differences. Because let's be honest, the Gen Z culture has taken center stage for a long time now, and that is what our conversation is hinged upon today. Welcome to Fafanua Africa. This is a youth-based show that focuses on the youth, their challenges, and prefer possible solutions to some of these issues that they face on a daily basis. On this episode, we're sitting down with the lecturers and the students of Western Delta University Oghara, Delta State, as we'll be checking their perspectives regarding certain issues and, of course, debunking some myths that might have flown for a long time. I am Blessings Musugu, and of course, I'm your host on the show. So sit tight, relax, as we are about to take you through 1 hour of blissful conversation. On my right, the lecturers and sort of the older generation are represented, and on my left, the younger generation and the youths or the students are represented. So very quickly, we want to get their introduction.
My name is Mrs. Edith Apochi Osondu. I am the guidance counselor of Western Delta University.
I'm Dr. Bala Anegbe, the acting head of Department of Industrial Chemistry.
Thank you very much. My name is Sakpaide Louis. I'm a 500 level law student. I am the public relations officer of SRC.
My name is Uponga Kirinora. I'm a 200 level nursing student of Western Delta University and the college rep for the College of Applied Health Science in the SRC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to start off with the conversation around mental health. This age and time, we hear a lot of young people talk about, oh, my mental health, I can't take it, and things like that. And we want to see the difference between mental health and hard work. Does mental health trump the place of hard work? Can they go side by side? Do you get the same result when you take it easy on your mental health as you would get when you work hard? And does hard work kill? So I'm going to start with the youths to get the perspective. Why exactly do the youths of these days hammer so much on the topic of mental health?
First of all, I would be communicating on the topic mental health. Mental health can be seen to be defined as the state or the well-being of an individual or a human being. And I believe with that definition, we can have at least a little insight on the subject matter mental health. Now, relating it to our present-day generation, the narrative is changing, especially when we have the social media in place. So the social media can be seen as a very big effect on our growth in this present-day generation. And I believe hard work, it's still something that should be given applause to, because if you say hard work is not relevant, then you are killing the generation we have, you understand? And if, for instance, I as a law student, I read, I do my necessaries to make sure that I come out with good grades, because that's my primary objective of being here. And another law student who just comes to school and goes through the back door, probably through some certain means, he does not read, then we both get the same grades. You see that encouragement will not be there. And it will also encourage other students to follow in that step. So you see that the action of one is already affecting the others. So if I, as a student, who puts in hard work to make sure, oh, I come out with good grades, and also the lecturer contributes to that mindset I have, because we are there to learn. They are there to invest knowledge in us that will create a living environment for every one of us. And that lecturer actually does the right thing. It will discourage that other party, that other student from carrying out that such act. And you see that every other student will follow up the right way. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you, do you think that social media is what amplified the need to consider mental health? Because it didn't used to be like that, you know. You go to school, you work hard, you pass, they see the result. But these days, it's like the youth are influenced by social media. Oh, everybody's clamoring for mental health, so I have to take it easy on my mental health. Do you think that social media has anything to do with it?
Well, yes, I think social media has a great role to play in that, in the sense that it created more awareness for it, because majority of the youth, majority of people did not know the influence or the effect of their mental health on what they do. So let's say, okay, we did not know like how our mental health affects our activities. Let's say I'm supposed to read by 9 o'clock, and throughout the day I've been working, I'm tired, I'm stressed. But then again, I still force myself to read. I won't get as much result as I will if I'm to rest and I'm relaxed, I'm okay. I will get a better result because at that point, my mental well-being is okay and better. So I'll be able to do more. But then again, when we talk about the aspect of hard work, considering hard work, if you decide to wait till you're better, you might not be able to achieve what you're supposed to do at a set time. Mental health is still very much important as it helps to achieve greater results, but we still need to put in the work to achieve good things. Thank you.
So there's one thing my mom used to say to me, that hard work doesn't kill, right? So I want to hear from you. I mean, with the older generation, you go to school, you have to work hard to get good grades. You have to work hard, read, you know, go to class on time, revise your work so that you can come out tops. I'm sure this mental health phenomenon is new to you. What do you think about it? Do you think that you can get as much result when you prioritize your mental health as opposed to working hard and acing your exams?
When I was a student, we resume as early as sometimes 7, 2, 3 hours class, maybe before break. From there, we go to library. From library, we get home, rest for 1 or 2 hours. We pick our bag again, back to night class. We didn't die, we are still alive. Nothing happened to us. As a matter of fact, that is why I can stand in front of my students and deliver lectures. Hard work pays, no doubt about it. Again, you look at it from the other perspective. The internet, the jet age now, it makes things a kind of somehow easy for them. But the honest truth is they are not, in quotes, taking advantage of it positively. I'll give you an instance. As a student far way back, if my lecturer then tells me, oh, go and do this, let's say an assignment, first of all, we have to go to library, search that book. Very funny. Sometimes we used to hide the book so that our mate will not see it. You know, search whatsoever we want to search from it, then we will not write. You can see it takes a whole lot of time. But this generation, if I'm a class lecturer, if I say, find out about this, some might be giving me the answer immediately. That is the one that I make use of the technology positively. Again, those students that are shouting mental health, they can stay with their phone for a whole day. That is the honest truth. They will keep pressing that phone. At that point in time, will I say they are not concerned now about that mental? But if you not tell them, carry that physics textbook, carry that chemistry textbook. After reading for 30 minutes, 1 hour, they say, a quote, I can't kill myself. That is when they will remember mental health. So hard work pays.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to ask her, the young people say now, they say the Gen Zs are built different. And do you think that, their mental capacity is different from the older generation, or is just an excuse not to work hard?
If I say they are, because of the recent development, because of changes, the way things were during the days of our forefathers is not the way things are right now. Like you said that while lecturing, some are already giving you answers. So the way they think differs. So if you want to assist them, you have to really come down to their level. When I mean come down to their level, care to understand them so that you know how to give them assistance. Because if you try to assist them with the same reasoning of our fathers or during our time, you might not be able to help them.
So So I'm going to ask one general question from both sides, right? You mentioned that sometimes you're lecturing and then someone is giving you the answer. So does that now mean that the same efforts you put into hard work to get the job done, if you actually prioritize your mental health and, you know, give yourself more rest and maybe you're disciplined with learning when you should learn and then putting your rest as priority, do you think that you can get the same result?
It's a matter of balancing it. The problem this generation has is how to balance it. Because they tend to spend more time resting than taking their studies. If they can actually balance it, for example, like what I said before, after those long classes during the day, I'll go home, rest for 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours as the case may be. I have timetable then. If I'm lying down, my phone, I've set my phone on alarm to wake me by 7 or 8 p.m. Take my bath, go back to night class. Have arranged my time. If they can as well arrange their time, it will be beneficial. Theirs will be far, far better than ours.
Do you think that you can get the same result if you're disciplined enough, you know, putting your mental health first as opposed to working hard and then working hard as well? Do you think you can get the same result?
Thank you very much. Before I answer your question, first of all, I believe social media is the cause of the awareness for mental health.
And is it a bad thing?
To some extent, yes, it's a bad thing. But to some extent, also a good thing. It's weighing on both sides, 50-50. So, social media as a whole has this negative perspective towards every individual, especially the coming generation, because they are not guided by the information that they see online. So whatever they take, they give in immediately. So there's nobody to guide whatever information they're getting online from somebody that they don't know. You understand? So I believe social media has a very, very great effect on every individual, especially the coming generation. So it really, really brings awareness when it comes to mental health. You say, what's mental health? Some of us will say, or probably the book I'm reading, it's tiring. The pressure on school. When some of us, we Gen Zs, we make those statements, the pressure on school, you just sit down and think that, oh, you're not working, you're not paying your fees, you have people sponsoring you in school, so why would you have issues with your mental health? That comes with peer pressure, your friends, because I believe to some extent, your friends have more influence than your parents. I don't know if anyone disagrees with that. It actually happens. They say it takes two to produce a child, but it takes a community to bring up a child. So you see that when we go to school, no matter the narrative that was presented to us at home, if it is not guided enough, it changes when that individual goes into the environment, which is the university. So I believe the subject matter mental health is something to actually rely on. It needs to be addressed, especially with the social media. And hard work, as it has been said, pays a lot. So it needs to be dealt with. Sensitization on this needs to be, it needs to be encouraged to kill that mindset of this coming generation, because it's spreading seriously and it's really affecting us in one way or the other. Thank you very much.
I want to hear from the audience. Do you think that the awareness on mental health is a bad thing or a good thing? Because some people will argue that it's good to know what your mental capacity is. It's good to know when to stop and when to continue reading. In fact, some people will say that the older generation worked so hard because they didn't know the effect of mental health. But now you see a lot of young people breaking down because, you know, they're doing too much, they're putting too much load on themselves, and then they're discovering the need to prioritize mental health. So do you think that it's a good thing that this awareness of mental health is being raised, or do you think it's a bad thing? Let's hear from the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm Dr. Okezie Uchebulam, the acting head of the Department of Physics and Electronics. So it's good to have awareness of mental health, but what we find out these days is the younger generation, they have a lot of things to absorb, a lot of information available to them that were not available during our days when we are growing up. So, but it is left for the student now to balance the two, just like Dr. Bala pointed out. There are a lot of junks. Some students can stay with their phone. They will just take in everything. There are some gossips in the internet and a lot of things. But now it's left for the wise and the serious students to sieve, take the reality and leave the junks and be focused. At the end of the day, that student will achieve much more than we achieved during our days because they have a lot of information at the tip of the finger. And just by googling, they will just get information they want, which were not available during our days.
My name is Ibireri Okofasa Stephen, the SROC president, the mayor, to be precise. So this issue of mental health and hard work of a thing, so many times I've even asked myself these questions. This Gen Z of a generation that we have right now, I don't really understand. I can remember vividly our fathers, my own father told me quite well. There was a time they don't notice what is called mental health, honestly. And this Gen Z generation, if you should ask them what is actually their mental health problem, some of them will be saying things that are not actually relevant to be bothered about. Some were talking about coming online on the social media, trying to communicate with friends that are not there for that, they are not reliable. Some were talking about irrelevant things, leaving the important things, your studies, the purpose why you are in a certain position at a certain time. There are times for everything. Honestly, I can say there are times for everything. This Gen Z generation, they want to, how will I say it, are match shoulder with their parent age. They'll be looking at people that have strived for years. How will you be able to compare yourself with somebody that have strived for over how many years? They've worked, they've sweat, and all of that. But Gen Z generation, actually, they'll be looking at somebody that have strived for years. They will want to amount to themselves. They will want to live the lifestyle they live in. They will want to speak like them. They want to dress like them. And they will take it as a mental problem to them. Some, I can categorically tell you, some, of which it's difficult to correct this Gen Z generation. It's difficult to tell them, no, this is what you should do at this time. This is what you should not do at this time. This is the mentor you're supposed to have at this time. There is time for everything. You cannot just wake up being born yesterday. Honest fact checked. This Gen Z generation, they are smart. They think faster. They act faster. They assimilate faster. When you tell them something, they capture it faster. They put it into action faster. But it doesn't mean you can fasten your life. You can fasten everything.
My name is Dr. Patrick Akbogira, HOD, Department of Mass Communication. I want to talk on two aspects. One, reading culture, mental health and reading culture. Then two, the usage of the social media and the mass media. Let me talk on the second one, or the first one rather. Reading and mental health. You see the problem with students. They think that reading is something you can grab overnight. Reading is a culture, student. Please, reading is a culture. I'm a lecturer for over 13 years and a PhD for over 11 years. Reading is a culture. You don't read when exam is closed and think God will perform a miracle. If you like, go and meet the greatest man of God to pray for, you're wasting your time. It's a culture. As soon as they teach you, you start reading. And it develops your mental health. It develops it. When you are reading close to exam, you move to the level of saturation. Your brain cannot accumulate everything at that moment because you are supposed to rest. God created the brain to rest in the night. But you said, no, I want to read overnight till daybreak. You are punishing the brain. That is not what God wants. He wants you to read regular as you are taught. You are reading, you are grabbing it, you are making notes. Not reading overnight and the brain, it happens to, A student of mine, because I'm a lecturer, she came to the exam hall, behold, she could not write anything. Why? She said she forgot everything she read. What happened to you? Did you read overnight? I asked. He said, yes, that is the problem with you. You cannot read overnight and you are punishing the brain at that moment. The brain wants to rest and you say, no, it must not rest. The brain wants to rest and you say, okay, let's fight. That is what went on. Reading is a cautious student. I'm pleading to you, please. Read every time and become part of you, become your culture.
This is still Fafanua Africa, and we have been talking about issues that pertain to both the youths and the lecturers, especially in a university setting. We've talked about mental health, but we still have a lot more things to talk about on this issue. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
News Central TV, Africa's #1 storyteller, has come with the best of both worlds. With a combination of news app and live TV, we ensure that you keep track of the latest headlines, breaking news, and in-depth analysis from professional journalists from around the continent. Download the News Central TV app on Android and iOS and get started today. Don't forget to follow us on News Central's social media platforms. News Central, Africa first.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still live with us on Fafanua Africa, and we are at Western Delta University. If you're just joining us, well, you've missed a tiny little bit of it, but that's not all, because we're about to continue the conversation. We talked about mental health, but we still have a lot more things to talk about when it comes to the Gen Z generation and, of course, the older generation and how they view things. I have my amazing panelists and, of course, the wonderful audience. So without wasting time, thank you once again for staying with us. Thank you for being here and contributing your opinion. Now, I want us to talk about lecture duration, right? Before the break, we dealt, extensively about mental health, but I also want us to talk about the youth's perspective on lecture duration and why or why not it is important to have long hours of lectures as opposed to just giving bullet points and then allowing them to go ahead to do the research. So I'm going to start from this side of the table. What do you have to say about that?
Just like you said, they prefer you to give them the bullet points, let them go and do what they need to do. But the reality is this: if you give them the bullet points, do you think this influence they have on social media and the rest of them will allow them to develop it well? That is a question I will leave for them to answer. Let me address the issue of the period of lecture in terms of hours. You see, if you ask me personally, I won't recommend anyone. I won't tell you 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, or 30 minutes as the case may be. But I will tell you convincingly that it depends on the mode of lecture, how the lecturer delivers that lecture. As a student then, and even as a lecturer, I take lecture for more than 2 hours. If a lecture is interactive, you discover that the students easily get tired. A lecturer should know when to pause, even if it's a minute, arouse the students. They're back to what they are discussing. Most especially if it's in quotes, what the student will call difficult courses. In my own case, like as I said, I'm the HOD of chemistry. There are some topics I want to teach, most especially at the elementary level, 100 level. The students, they will tell you chemistry is difficult. So first of all, I will need to arouse them, to kind of play with them, come to their level, so that whatever I'm saying, they will follow up, But if you take it to be a one-way communication, where the lecturer is just pouring everything out, as if he's a encyclopedia on his own, highest, by 1 hour, the students are already tired.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I want to hear from her. Let's say there's a lecture for 1 hour. There's still students who would not pay attention and will still be on their phones, because one excuse that, the older generation gives is that if you're in class, you can pay attention, you won't get distracted. But let's be honest, a lot of people get distracted by the lecture itself. So how do we create a balance with that?
Well, just like our lecturer rightly said, the mode of presentation, the lecturer matters a lot. Your style, if maybe you're that type of lecturer that as you're addressing the students, they can't even hear you. Let's say those at the front can't even hear one thing you're saying. They'll be praying that you round up quickly. It's as if you're just helping them to waste their time. So the mode of a presentation, and now you're able to carry them all along. Some lecturers might even walk into their midst, like check up on how they are doing and stuff, not just stand in one position and just think everybody is being carried along. So your style also matters. And you can also put some rules. Maybe while your lecture is going on, you don't want them putting on their phones and getting distracted or talking and all that. If they know that then when we're in school, there are some kind of lecturers, once they're around, you just know that you have to keep your phone. You just know that you can't start talking. Then you just know that you can't walk in late. But there are some, they don't mind. You walk in late, you go out, they'll just be looking at you. They have where they'll get you, maybe during marking or something. So they check out your style of delivery. So I think it's you as a lecturer that should be able to know the kind of students you have and bring out your own style of ensuring that they are not distracted.
In addition to what my colleague just said, summarily, it has to do with classroom management. And this is only applicable, with no apology, to private university. Because in public university, the crowd is there. There is no way the lecturer can manage that class.
Does this resonate with you?
Okay, thank you very much once again. To some extent, yes. And to some extent, no. Before I speak on the positive side of it, we Gen Z generation, we have this notion that we get easily tired. Understand? For instance, if a class is fixed for 9 a.m., our mindset is that class must hold by that 9 a.m. And some persons, you see that when the lecturer does not come, okay, maybe about 30 minutes later, they'll be like they're tired. They'll go back to their hostels to go and sleep or do whatever they want to do. You understand? Without the knowledge that you have a primary objective of why you are there. You understand? I believe orientation is the problem. Because if a lecture is fixed for 9 to 11 a.m., even if the lecturer does not arrive, you should actually wait from that 9 to 11 a.m. before you can say, okay, let me leave. Because that's the schedule that was placed on your timetable for you as a student and you should follow. You understand? As a law student, we must understand that perspective. But we Gen Z generation, after 10 to 15 minutes, we get tired easily. Once the lecturer is not responding, probably the lecturer is engaged with one or two things, we just disappear because we are not interested anymore in that lecture for that particular day, and that's the end. So I believe orientation, it's a very, very big narrative that changes the whole situation. So when we have this proper orientation, this proper guidance, this sensitization with students, they will understand why they are here. Understand? So we should address our mindset as students also. It's very, very important. Thank you very much.
On the aspect of the time duration for a lecture, I agree with my lecturer when he said there is no specific recommendation for how long a lecture should last, because it all depends on the mood of presentation, how the class starts, how you introduce yourself, how you present yourself as a lecturer, for the class. Because if the lecturer, like you said, just comes and you just start reading from a PDF or from a note you brought from home or from somewhere, I'll easily get tired because you're not trying to interact with me. You're just talking to me and expecting me to like follow you like that. It's not going to help, because I might not understand what you're saying because maybe I've not come across such thing before. So it will also affect. And then another thing to add is the lecturer has to create a safe space in the class, because you're also keeping me on my toes, like, okay, I have to follow because I don't know when next I'll be asked a question. I might not understand something you said. And if the safe space has not been created, like, okay, I want to ask a question, but then I'm scared because I don't know how people will react. Most students struggle with this. I don't know what people will say. I don't want to ask a question. No, let me just stay. Or maybe they have an answer to the question and nobody has, and they feel like, no, I don't want to say anything. I don't want people to say, oh, I'm doing too much. So there has to be this safe space created for people that want to speak out, to talk. Like, okay, and like encourage them to speak. I encourage them to like talk create conversations and all in the class.
Thank you. So let's quickly open it up to the audience. Who has anything to contribute?
What I want to talk on is on pre-class engagements by student. Pre-class engagement. What did you engage yourself with before you went to class? And sometimes if you engage yourself in certain things, you will see 2 hours is too much, 2 hours is too much, you are tired. Probably all through the night, you were busy pressing phones. We've seen students like that, they press phone in the night, all through the night. And they sleep late and wake up late, and maybe the class is 8 o'clock. And when they come to class, they come late, and when they are in the class, they cannot engage themselves constructively in the class because they've used their time in unconstructive engagement, pre-class engagements. It is a very terrible thing. Students do that in the hostel. Some engage themselves in other negative things, unconstructive things, things that do not construct them positively. And so when you engage yourself, what I call pre-class engagement, it affects you. You go to class and the class becomes boring. You see 2 hours as too much. Sometimes you are sleeping, you are tired, or you have taken some drugs within you. You see 2 hours as, this is boring, I'm tired. No, you have engaged yourself with something. You are supposed to be giving your course outline. And when you give your course outline and giving materials to go ahead to go and read, you read before the lecturer comes. And when you go there, you have something to say or something to understand. But when you engage yourself, pre-class engagement with unconstructive things, it affects you. And you think that 2 hours is madness, you are tired. No, it is your engagement, pre-class engagement. Thank you.
You see, for class students, whether the lecturer is the method, whichever method the lecturer devises or applies, intelligent students will try to catch up. That's what distinguishes them from other students. Whether the class is boring or not boring, that exceptionally good student will want to get something from the lecturer, irrespective of the way the lecture is presented. Some of us have devised means of arousing the interest of students while teaching. Some of us reward students by giving them bonus marks if they answer questions. Because you discover that will make some of them to go extra mile or to read before coming to class. You see, so there are some, for instance, if it's a 1 hour lecture period, before students settles down for that 1 hour, 15 minutes will go. So you discover that you have, say, 45 minutes or even 40 minutes from that 1 hour. It is just a reality. Because if you start driving students out every now and then, you will not like, a lecturer will not like to be teaching few students in a class. So at the end of the day, you will let them in. But you discover that before you settle down to deliver lecture, some time must have gone. So that is the essence. So a student should be prepared in as much as he or she has prepared to come to class, to receive lecture, to get the best from the lecturer. Thank you very much.
Akalagboro Erezi Rosalia, 100 level nursing student. I want to agree with what our lecturer said about students wanting to pay more attention to the classes and wanting to follow up. But if you also agree with me, even though the class is interactive, as our lecturer has already said, trying to make class interactive so that students follow up, if you agree with me, most students, they won't still follow up. Writing formulas on the board, when you ask them, they will just they will try to bypass it, or maybe if they finally give you the answer, they'll just sit back and be like, okay, I've passed that one. I can relax back to what I was doing. They won't still follow up for some students. Why for the others, as our lecturer already said, for those that want to actually learn, those that want to actually put effort in knowing what they are in the university for, they would actually catch up and follow up with what the lecturer is already saying. And the question our lecturer asked also about dropping out the main details and leaving the rest for the students to go and find that. Some students will do it, some students will not do it. You can agree with me because it's in the classroom. We are seeing it already in the class. Some students will go extra miles to go and dig up what they actually need to dig up. Like some of our lecturers will tell us, go to the library, make good use of your time, do more research, Don't just go and check only textbook. Search more. Go deeper and find out what we gave you to find out. And most students will actually do it compared to others. That's just all I have to say.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Ninjo. From 100 level, I'm studying computer science. I would say it's the method in which you teach the student. Something that is orally taught and something that is practically shown. The one that lasts in our memory is what is practically shown. Okay, let me use the word Gen Z. The reason why we are addicted to our phones, I would say, not everybody's addicted to their phone, obviously, but the reason why you see us with our phones, laptop, is because we like things that are practical. We like things that are visual. So if you as a lecturer is teaching us, you should understand that, okay, these students, they don't just like talk. Trust me, I attend every classes, and I can differentiate the one that I prefer the most, that I will not sleep. But I can tell you the one that once the lecturer just come, I'll be like, oh God. But I will still try my best to listen. The reason why it's like that is because of the way the lecturer is teaching us. Let me make reference. If you don't understand something and you go to YouTube, you see these Indian people. Indian persons, they know how to teach very well. And if they're teaching, you see them, they'll be showing examples very, very well. And they will tell you, okay, if you don't understand this, you can come to this place, read this book, read this. When you do that kind of, you will see the students, they will be forced to go and read the book because why? They enjoy the method. But if you as lecturer is telling us, okay, go and read this, maybe we don't like what you did in the first place. Maybe it was not, I'm not going to say entertaining, but maybe we didn't understand. And many people are so shy to stand up and say, sir, I don't understand, maybe because they don't want to be insulted. So that is why I said the lecturer should at least carry the students. Make sure every student is, some lecturers, okay, in 100 level, I believe almost all the lecturers is doing that. They know how to carry students very, very well. So when you carry students and make them to be so interested in what you are teaching, I assure you, the turn-up will be very, very, very good. Thank you.
Hi, beautiful people. This is Fukia Kindele.
VJ Adams.
Ini Cash.
Major shout out to News Central.
News Central.
Keep watching News Central TV.
Hello, sweetie. It's Alawa.
News Central, let's go. News Central. Stay tuned.
The next thing borders on counseling, right? We want to find out, is it really necessary to have counselors in universities? Do we need counseling sessions in universities? Does that impact the students' ability to function or behavior or whatever in any way?
Yes, we need counselors and we need counseling for our students because they are humans. It's not just about teaching them things, just like what we're talking about now. It's almost like a counseling session already because we're trying to interact. Some of them could be that they face things in life, trauma, so many situations, and it's affecting them. So you don't just go to class and say, this one is a dummy, he's not understanding anything, and you don't even know what's happening to that. Maybe just lost a parent or something. So it needs a mental health assistance to help him or her to concentrate on studies and do well.
Counseling, it's a very key factor to anybody's progress. I believe we as students, in relation to the topic mental health, it also relates to what counseling is. Addressing communication with a proper individual that knows the semantics, the methods in order to address individual problems. Understand? And when we have counselors, you see that students can, not all students though, but few can easily address them and communicate with them some certain issues so that they can relay it to the table. There are things that we as students, we manufactured from somewhere that we need to learn and unlearn. We need to pour them out because they say you will not know a wise man until you speak. You understand? So once we pour out whatever we have in our mind, you see that those that are more experienced than us or those that can guide whatever thoughts we have can now easily communicate with us on some certain issues that this that you have upstairs is not right. You need to go about this way, or you need to do this way. It can help address your mindset properly. You understand? So that you can be focused.
Again, don't forget that you remember then, during our time, some of us were already 20, 18, before gaining admission into university. But nowadays, you see 16 are already in 100 level. Again, some of those students, it might be their very first time staying out of their parents. So you discover that the peer group influence is there. If there are no counselors to counsel them on the proper way, it will be disastrous. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, very quickly, we need to hear from the audience. Do you think counseling is necessary? Does counseling help the students in any way?
I feel counseling is necessary because aside academic life, we also have our personal life that we need to talk about things to someone or people. So most of us, the Gen Zs, let me put it that way, we are afraid that if we meet people for counseling, we'll be judged or criticized, maybe. But we just need like an advice to curb some certain things we are doing. And not only that, okay, our peer groups too. So most times peer groups influence us positively and negatively. So it depends on the kind of peer group we have, depends on the one we follow. So if you have a good friend, if you have good friends or people that you're hanging around with that are very working with you in a positive way, you can also ask them for counseling. And also our lecturers. And most times we are afraid to approach some of our lecturers, maybe their facial expression or the way they act in class. So counseling is actually good for us students because there are certain things we face in life and we need more advice from people that are older than us to tell us what to do. Thank you.
It's like my colleague has said, there's a lot to a human existence than studying. There's the mental factor, the things that one go through at home, in church, maybe puberty. And like my lecturer said, he said, many of us are coming from our parents' house for the first time. So we don't really understand how to navigate this free world that we enter into. We need, let's say, a safe space and a friendly factor that can help us, not in, like, Africa, we have this stricto sensus kind of relationship where you see an adult, you see respect, you see digwe, that kind of thing. You must give him the respect he deserves. But with counseling, it's more an open space for anybody. Yeah, you can say whatever you feel, you can share your experiences. You get someone who will guide you through them without feeling judged. And well, talking helps you free up and ease your mental health.
Well, this is a question of counseling, guidance and counseling. I will say it's a very paramount section we should have in every institution. It should be more active, like I said, like the way you go to your class and all of that. It should be more active in every institution. Because the counseling department, it should not be left alone for just the counseling department. Lecturers as well can counsel, can talk to their students. Like I said, lecturers should be free. Lecturers should not be rigid, should not be like a military ruler. These Gen Z generations, they want friendly people. They want people they can open up to and not judge them. This Gen Z generation, they want free people. Because as a lecturer, you're more like a father, like an elder one. So what if it happens to be that was your child? The child you're lecturing is your child or is a younger one. Would you be free with him or her? You want to share their feelings and all of that. So lecturers should be free with students. They should be more free. You cannot be rigid with your students. Your student comes to you, you yell at them. Like, if you kind of are facing through one or two stress, lecturing job should be a profession, a passionate profession, something you want, you willingly, not something you're frustrated, what do? You should go into a lecturing job. No, it should be passionate. Do it passionately. So when you come to the class, you want every student to come along with you as you're lecturing. You want every student to pick everybody along. Even if it's just 30 minutes you lecture, every student should be carried along. Because some are slow learner, some are fast learner. Some you need to use practical to demonstrate it so that I can understand better. Some you, when you saw one or two, they can read the other one and understand and grasp it immediately. Some you need to explain better before they can grasp it. So I will say, even as far to the lecturer, can be a guardian and a counselor. Because when they come to the school, the parent left them, they give them to the school authority for their safety and for the purpose why they are there to grasp the results. So I think every school, the guardian and counseling section should be taken very paramount.
I'd like to agree with the point that every school needs a guidance counselor. It's very important. The importance cannot be overemphasized. But I want to differ from the previous speakers who opine that lecturers, even colleagues, students would make good confidants or confidants. You need a qualified guidance counselor, and that cannot be substituted with your peers or even just any lecturer. What is the use of a guidance counselor? He or she provides academic support, will guide you on what combination of courses you need to take. That person may also help you with personal and social development. If you have emotional issues, they are trained to know even if you don't speak, and they can talk you out of it, yes. So these skills are not just picked up along the road. It's through training. So we need qualified guidance counselors.
To be a counselor, it's actually three things needed. We need somebody that understands us, not just to counsel us, but to understand how we feel about things. If I have an issue, if I bring it up to you, how will you understand me? Will you understand me? And two, we need a good listener. That's why we need a counselor, somebody that will listen to us, feel and vibe with us. It's not only lecturers that can be our counselor. By experience. To be a counselor, you need to have some certain experience, some certain things, like you want to understand an experience. Like I can't meet someone who only have experience academically, but not emotionally, like at home, and expect that person to counsel me. The person will only counsel me during books, but won't understand, give me that feeling of how a person will counsel me at home. My mom is my counselor. She counsels me because she has been through all this. So meeting her means I'm meeting an experienced person. That's why I believe that a counselor is supposed to be experienced. We need someone to counsel and guide us because we're all kids. We're trying to learn and grow.
I'm going to have this one, academic support. They're going to help you. Maybe there's some students that they don't even know the reason why they came to school. Some of them, they are forced. A lot of people are studying, let me make this popular course in my school here, nursing. We have about close to 200 people studying nursing. Out of the 200 persons, it's not everybody that have that passion in studying nursing. Some people, their parents force them, and they don't even know what to do. So this is where you meet the guidance, the school guidance and counselor, because you have to seek advice from this person. I don't know what to do. Where can I start from? Stuff like that. You see career, you see personal and emotional support, different kind of support. So you can't just meet any kind of person for all these support. A counselor is a trained person that you have to meet at all times, because that counselor, if you look at it, she has an office. Let me use the one in our school. She has an office and she's open for everybody. She's not stressed because the rate at which students come to meet her is not plenty. So why would you prefer to meet a lecturer that is stressed, or meet your fellow students that you feel like at the end of the day, if two of you have issue, they'll cast you? So why would you do something like that? You have to meet a school guidance and counselor because she's going to keep everything encrypted.
All right, thank you very much. That said, we have come to the end of this conversation. Thanks to the amazing panelists and, of course, the wonderful audience for their inputs and contributions. And do not forget, this conversation does not just border or is not streamlined to just the students and lecturers of the Western Delta University. I hope that you have learned or picked a thing or two from this. Do well to join us on our subsequent episodes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Blessings for Sugu. See you on the next episode.